is, after sorting it, again, n is the number of data values. You're going to calculate this capital L, this so-called locator, which is 0.25 times n. That's actually 25% of n. Okay, we're calculating the first quartile, Q1. L is 0.25 times n. Okay? Now, depending on what L is, will determine the next step you take. If L is a decimal value, so if it's, say, 2.3, not 2, 2.3, or 4.6, 4.1, whatever it is, you're going to round it up to the next whole number. That's what this is telling you. That's what this notation is supposed to remind you. I mean, I have not seen this notation, the plus sign, used this way before. That doesn't mean it's not used that way. To round up. So for instance, if you have 4.8, you would round up to 5 as your L. If you got 4.1, you would round up as well to 5. You're not going to round down. You always go to the next whole number up. And then the data that's in the Lth position, that is your Q1. Now, if instead L is a whole number, so if L was 4, 8, 12, if L is a whole number, then you have to get the data values in the L and L plus 1 position and find their mean. You can actually follow this process to get the median, which is our Q2. The only difference is that L is going to be 0.50 times n, not 0.25. And you actually get, it's actually equivalent to the same thing we did already, finding the median. If L is 0.50 times n. For Q3, instead, you're going to do L is 0.75 times n. The rest of it's the same though. Well, it's so much fun, let's try it out. So here's an example. Here it's nice, the data is already sorted. I mean, if it wasn't sorted, you could type this, remember, into a column in Google Sheets, all into one column. Each number, of course, is a cell. I don't know about Excel, but I know in Google Sheets, you highlight the data. You go to data in the menu bar, I think it is, and you click, and then you go to sort. I think it's range or sort column, if I remember correctly, from A through Z. You can always ask me if you need help. Well, n is 12 here, though. Then, of course, once you sort the data, it's easy to see the minimum is 59, the maximum is 78. Yeah. Okay, so for Q1, again, we have to get 25% of 12, which is essentially just 0.25 times 12. We have 0.25 times 12. Okay, well, that's just 3. I mean, really, remember, I wrote 25% of 12 because we're calculating, because this product is 25% of n. N is 12 here. So we get 3 here. L is a whole number, right? So we're going to get to the third and fourth number in the data set. That's 62 and 64. Right? So we get their average, their mean. We add and divide by 2, and that's 63. Okay. For Q2, which is the median, I mean, you could do what we did earlier. Or I'm going to stick with this process. So we have 50% of 12, which L is 0.5 times 12, 0.50 times 12, and that's just 6. I mean, you could just do the calculation here by multiplying. You get 6. So 6, whole number, right? So we look at the 6th and 7th data value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 67 and 69, right? Those two numbers, the 6th and 7th data value. We get their average. Average is the same as mean. That's what I'm doing here. And we get 68. I know Q1 and Q2 are not data values, but that's okay. That's going to happen. I mean, not always, but it could happen. You know what? Hold on. Let me just cross something out. It's not really wrong to have 25% of 12. It's not wrong to have that. Same thing here. I'm so worried it's going to cause more confusion, so I'm going to cross it out. Q3, okay? There, I mean, I had the 75% to remind us we do 0.75. But for Q3, we have 0.75 times 12. That's just 9, okay? That's a whole number. So we look at the 9th and 10th data value. That's 72 and 74. If you count from the bottom, you get 72 and 74, 9th and 10th respectively. Add them up, divide by 2, you get 73. You get the average of those two, which is 73. So the 5-number summary are these numbers. 59, the minimum, Q1, Q2, Q3, 78. That's what we get. It wasn't wrong for me to keep 25% of 12, 50% of 12. I thought it would just help remind you. Q1 is you have to get 25% of n. That's the same as doing this product. For the median, 50%, which is 0.5, 50 times 12, and so on. That's the 5-number summary, though. Okay. Are there any questions about this, though? Okay. Okay, so we have this, right? Let's do another one. So again, let me just cross some of these out. Not really wrong for me to have them, but I'm so worried about I don't want to cause more confusion than necessary. If you so. Right. So we have this data, right? Again, this is not sorted. If I wanted to sort it, what I could do is type all this into Google Sheets in a column. Then sort using Google Sheets. As I said before, okay? And it's 15. There's 15 data values. And also, once you sort the data, you get this, as you can see. Okay, so we get the minimum first, which is 87, right? That's the smallest value. The maximum is 1,300, 1,300. Now we get the Q1, Q2, and Q3. Well, n is 15. So for Q1, our locator L is 0.25 times 15, which turns out to be 3.75. Okay? As you can see. Now, L is a decimal value, right? This is a decimal. It's 0.7. It's not just it's not just 3, it's not just 4, it's a decimal. So what do? We're going to round up to 4 and use the data value in the 4th position. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have this, as you can see. That's our Q1. 175, the data value in the 4th position is our Q1. Q2, L is 0.50 times 15, which is 7.5. Okay. Again, that's a decimal, right? It's a decimal value, that is. So we're rounding up to 8, we're going to use the data value in the 8th position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know it's right. I know it's here. But I wanted to show you. Get the 8th data value. Okay. Next, for Q3, 0.75 times 15. You get 11.25. It's still a decimal. It's a decimal value. We still round up. I know when you look at this, if someone told you to round, you would think, oh, well, this digit is 2, so we round down to 11. Not here. We're going to round up to 12. Okay, so you go to the 12th value, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 416. That's our Q3. Our maximum is 1,300. Here's our 5-number summary. This is it. Okay.